Hi folks, this is Hitesh Patel, Virtual Facilitator at TAC-TMI. I'm looking forward to working with you, some of you again, on the art of virtual facilitation later this week. This time we're going to focus a lot less on the tools of Adobe Connect and how to use them, and more on the facilitation and the engagements of participants. We're going to look at things from the participant's perspective to make sure we deliver the learning objectives of a session. So let me tell you what's in store for us. So here's the agenda for our 2-hour session. I'll just introduce them and then I'll go into a bit more detail about each of them. So we'll be reviewing some of the key skill areas, looking at some of the best practice, and mostly the don't do's of virtual facilitation. Then the key part, 80 minutes of you delivering facilitations, and then some looking at some what if scenarios. What would you do if X or Y happened in the session? Now, we'll cover some of these in detail in the session, so I'll just quickly go to the do's and don'ts. Yeah, we'll be looking at it from 3 perspectives: from the technology, the use of the platform, audio, video, and just putting in some technological measures that will make sessions go more smoothly. Then we'll look at the preparation, what to do in terms of preparing the exercise and on-screen resources so that the session runs smoothly. And then finally, the key bit, the delivery, how you facilitate, how we can make it engaging and deliver the learning objectives. Now, what do you need to do to prepare? Well, there's some key things. First, find some content that you're really familiar with. And I think everybody is choosing some content from the PS1 sales program at Henkel. So we'll all be familiar and be using similar content. And then keep it simple. Choose only enough contents for a 5-minute delivery and perhaps no more than 8 slides. Now, prepare a small set of PowerPoint slides that will support your delivery, and then send those slides to me, the instructor, at least 1 day before the session. This is for 2 reasons. One, it'll help me upload them before the session and save some any time and technological problems, and I'll be able to take a quick look at those slides and see what tips I might be able to give you when we start the session. Then decide upon your facilitation objectives. Yeah, what do you want us to give you feedback on? Because there are so many facets of the session. Have that in mind, because that's also something you'll submit to me before the session. Now, the facilitation should include a participant exercise that utilizes the breakout room functionality. We just want to make sure you're comfortable and fluent in using the breakout room tool, because it's so important in facilitating exercises and helping participants learn between each other. So have that in mind. And here's what we need to prepare. Yeah, you'll tell us which areas you'd like to have feedback, because we'll be looking at these in terms of engagement. How well did you build rapport and engagement with the group through your personal interaction, voice dynamics, and body language? How well did you use the on-screen Adobe Connect tools? How clear were the instructions that you gave? Now, this is key. If we were participants, we'd be able to fully understand what we needed to do at all points during the session. We look at the effectiveness of the exercise. How well did that exercise serve the purpose of learning for the participants? A little less of this, but because you may have not influenced the content, but how well did you adapt the content to suit the virtual environment? And finally, how well did you give feedback and coaching to the participants, which may not be a big element of your facilitation, but I put it on there because these are the key things we would expect a facilitator to be fine-tuning during the practice. So have that in mind. I'm going to send you these PowerPoint slides. Now, tell us before the session the key things that you're expecting from the exercise. So, for example, I've called this one the sales questioning skills, and I'll share some examples with you. But you're going to submit to me just before the session the key learning points for the participants. What should the participants be able to do after your facilitation? Yeah, and how did the exercise help achieve the learning objectives? I'll send you a little example, so you can give me something similar to this. I won't go through this in detail now because you'll get this and be able to read it before the session, but you'll be submitting this, so we'll be giving you feedback on specific things that you're trying to achieve. So that's the plan. And we'll finish, hopefully, with squeezing in some time for what-if scenarios. There are a few on the screen there, but I share with you one thing. What if 15 minutes into the program, suddenly the cameras stop working? How would you create a workaround for your exercises to make them still possible without the use of cameras, if it was going to be part of this part of the session? So just some things that test your knowledge and your ability to cope when there are problems in the session. Have that in mind. And then here's just a little something. It'll be a surprise for you. I'm going to send you this slide too, but I just want you to be really familiar with the words on this screen. It's called the Box Factory. And I just want you to just read it through a few times so you'd be really familiar with the words. So when you were reading them, you wouldn't be reliant on having to read them because you'd spent a little time getting familiar with what's in there. And that's going to be a little surprise in readiness for the session. So that's our plan of action. In readiness for this session, please get some slides, maybe up to 8 slides in total, a 5-minute facilitation, and you'll be getting some feedback from me and the other group members. You'll be telling me what you aim to achieve in the session by that slide on your session's objectives. And think about this. The Box Factory, no need to memorize the words, just be really familiar with them in time for the session. If you have any questions before the session, feel free to send me an email and we'll be fully prepared to explore the art of virtual facilitation at the next level. I look forward to seeing you later this week.